Just a coincidence?
I don't think so.
I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire.
Last week, we left off in the last video that I knew Matt from his YouTube channel, but he knew nothing about me.
No,
So-
she was like the ultimate super stalker.
I was.
And then you actually got your prey too. That like doesn't always happen.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
in this case, it was.
A little bit of backstory that will lead up to my wife here. The week before August 20th, and the only reason I can remember that because I just was informed, me and my family went over to some people that we knew. I was still in hunting mode.
Because I knew him, but he didn't know me.
Yeah, I had no idea about her. I was like, well, this girl's like maybe a possibility. So I'm not the type of guy that'll just like start it off with the girl. I always like to be proper and go to the father and ask for permission to get to know his daughter. So I went ahead and it was the next day. So it started out, we went and visited them on a Friday. Then Saturday rolled around. I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Like, I'm just gonna start doing this, you know?
He moves really fast.
Yeah. I was getting desperate, I guess, but there had been, I guess, be honest with y'all, there had been a couple other situations and I let my dad kind of start to like talk to the father of a couple other girls and it just didn't get anywhere. And it was really awkward for both fathers and stuff. So any advice that I could give to any other young men too out there, just handle, it's your own business. Just handle it yourself. Dive head first. You're going to mess up anyway, but just do it anyway. So anyway, so that's what I did. And I was like, I'm done. I'm just going to call him. So I hyped myself up and called him. Today's video is brought to you by
Crowd Health.
Our Family's Health Insurance. It's the best. I'm talking like Trace Adkins right now. Crowd Health has been incredible for me and Ann starting out because me and Ann only pay $88 each per month. I know, incredible.
Super awesome.
And there's other competition like Samaritan that my family's been using for years, and they are going to be switching over to Crowd Health because Samaritan, nothing against them, great company, their prices just keep going up and up and up. And Crowd Health literally covers everything. They're awesome and they're very supportive.
They're based on health.
They're based on health, which is awesome. We absolutely love them. They have an incredible app, awesome app that you can submit all your bills to them. My wife recently of this year, you fractured your wrist. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I fractured my wrist in January and we submitted bills and they covered a lot of it.
Our deductible was only a couple $100s. Go check them out, and it helps me and Ann make more videos like this. It doesn't increase the price of anything for y'all. Go check them out. It is an awesome company. We use them, and we've been using them ever since we got married, and it's been great. Highly recommend it. Use the promo code down in the description down below, Crowd Health. First of all, I'm an extrovert, but I think most of my things out, so I wrote down what I was going to talk to him, so I wouldn't like go blank or anything.
He does this a lot.
Then I practiced what I was going to say before I did it like 3 or 4 times, so it would go pretty well, right? And part of me was hoping he wouldn't answer the phone, so then I could be like a slick operator and just leave him like a voicemail. And so I called him, and it rang and rang and rang, and then it went to voicemail, so I left him a voicemail. And I said on the voicemail pretty much that I was interested in getting to know his daughter. Just go ahead and give me a call back. So anyway, this might be TMI too. My mom got a text message from his wife, and she said, "Oh, I know Matt just tried to call my husband. He's out chainsawing right now, and he's too busy." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I thought, you know, most guys, I don't know, me, I get curious and I would have called like that evening, maybe not if it was my daughter. So anyway, so I got ghosted for like all of Sunday. I got ghosted. So it went Friday, I called him on Saturday, Sunday, ghosted. Like so bad, I turned Like, we've been going to the same church for like over 2 years now, and every Sunday you make a left turn, right? I made on 2 Sundays in a row, I made 2 right turns, like going to another town. I'm like, everybody's like, what are you doing? Like, I was like totally out of it. While this is going down.
Yeah, so like a week before like August 20th, which
Yeah.
is a significant date, is my parents noticed that I was infatuated or stalking, as he calls it, Matt. So they decided, they prayed about it and they were going to do something about it. So they did. So one evening I came upstairs because us girls' bedroom was downstairs. So I came upstairs. I started to go outside because it's, it's pretty outside. Mom and Dad were out on our deck and they're like, they looked up and they kind of both got like red, like faces and like deer in the headlights kind of look. And they're like, can you just go back inside for a minute? I'm like, yeah.
Started smelling something.
I went back inside and I started just, working on something that I was making. My clock just started ticking. Like I was like, what are they doing? Like I just kept thinking what are they doing out there? Like I had a suspicion, but I didn't know what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out they were writing a letter to Matt, introducing our family and me and asking if he wanted to get to know me, that he could just, call up Dad and, get the ball rolling if he'd be interested in that. And they didn't say that I didn't know anything about it. That was happening like a week before
my stuff was happening.
Your whole stuff happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Monday rolls around.
And we didn't have any jobs going on that day. I know we were working on this house and everything like that. And I was getting a cup of coffee in the kitchen and Dad called Mom. And most of the time, Mom will put Dad on speakerphone. She automatically put him on speakerphone. And then Dad asked to be taken off of speakerphone. And I was like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, I was like, what's going on? Some type of shady business here. She's just over there with her, her eyes are bugging out of her head a little bit. She's getting all excited. And then both of my other brothers walked in and we're all just looking at her and we're all like, what in the world? And I started thinking, I'm like, this is about some girl. She gets off the phone, she hangs up, and then she says, somebody wrote you a letter. Your dad's going to be home pretty soon, and he can show you the letter and fill you in on it 100%. So I said, okay, that sounds good. So then anyway, so Dad gets home. He's grinning. He is just grinning, so bad. I think they pretty much told me exactly what the letter said word for word before I even got to read it, and then I was like, let me read it. And then, so then, even though the letter says,
it
Matt,
was addressed to you.
Yeah, it says addressed to Matt, I read it and I was like, wow, this sounds really awesome. It's just pretty much just saying that they're a Christian family and most of their beliefs lined up with our beliefs and about stay at home
It was
moms
towards the
and stuff.
end.
The last page was, because there was
By
two
the way.
yeah, there was 2 pages, but I knew the whole thing was ramping up to being and I have a daughter, type of thing. And then he was like, if you want to get to know my daughter, she's 18 at the time, if you want to, you can give me a call. Well, that's Monday, right? And on Saturday, I called this other dad, right? And left him a message. So I'm like, huh. But I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I have nothing to lose. And I'm texting my buddies all this, while it's happening. And they're freaking out. They're they're freaking out dude, you're crazy. You just said you maybe like this other girl, and you got the nerve to call her dad, Now maybe you got this other girl that wrote you a letter. Why not just go one girl at a time? But I'm like, but if you don't act on this stuff, it could go away. You gotta be this stuff's fickle, Women are fickle sometimes. So it's hurry up. Hey, there's nothing to lose. I'm just gonna call him up because there was something before the phone call that happened. Okay. Before the phone call, I said to my mom and dad, I read the letter. And I said, I need a photo. A photo.
This is a good part. It's a good thing you didn't miss this.
1,000 words. I told Dad, I said, hey, ask him for a family photo. I need a photo of this girl. Because that'll be the extra boost of encouragement to call this guy, Okay, so then Monday evening came around and I called him. And I went into the office. I still had the exact same notes that I had for the other
This is
guy's
the part I
dad.
just like roll my eyes. Like you really use the
So
same.
I literally
notes.
took the script, scratched out where that guy's
Personalized it.
where that guy's name was, and I was like, I'll just use my father-in-law's name and tweaked a couple things, just a little different make and model, So anyway, so I called him, and this guy answered the phone. I was like, wow, that's so nice, and he was working too. Yeah, that was really nice of him. Yeah, he actually cared. So we started chatting, and it was awesome. I think he was actually almost more nervous than I was talking to him.
Yeah, probably.
We were like equally nervous, but I don't know. I've always imagined in my head that it's like I'm supposed to be really nervous and the dad's supposed to be like super confident, or something. But we were pretty much equally nervous, a little bit. So anyway, so we started talking, and it was great. It was awesome. To just make a long story short of our phone call, we pretty much had like a 1 hour phone call. If you want to, I can give you my daughter's phone number, which I was like, oh my goodness, I finally have a girl's number. That's insane. Because I've never like texted or called a girl before, like ever. I don't have never had a girl's phone number in my phone or anything like that before. So I was like, wow, this is like crazy. And this guy's like crazy enough to give me his daughter's phone number, like on the spot. Like, this is crazy. So he sat you down, he talked to you and said, hey, so if you want to talk about that. Yeah, how that went.
I was outside playing with the kids, and Mom calls me in, and they sit me down, and they kind of tell me what they did, and of course I kind of knew, but then they're like, do you want to get to know this guy? Because we can just like cut it off right here. I was like, yeah, I want to, but I'm also a little like scared. Like, I don't know what he's like. I had never talked to a guy either. Never had a guy on my phone to text or call anybody like around my age. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, and I was like a ball of nerves. And Dad's like, so do you want me to tell him that he can call you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you can tell him he can call me. So,
he texted me because I had his info. I got him in my contact in my phone. He texted me and he said, hey, you got the green light from my daughter. She wants to talk. She gets off at work on Tuesday at whatever time it was. What time did he get off work? Noon. So I was like, okay, sounds good. Wrote it on my calendar. Call my father-in-law's beautiful daughter. Like, I literally wrote that down.
you wrote that?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Call my father-in-law, his name, beautiful daughter, So anyway, and that's why I saved him temporarily in my contacts, is like his name has a beautiful daughter in my contacts. So I want to get,
No way.
because it's a general name, so I didn't want to get it mixed up with any of my business contact. What was our call date? Like 1 o'clock?
Yeah, it's around like 1 or 2.
1 or 2. I don't know, but I took a shower, combed my hair, brushed my teeth. It's just a phone call. Like, what in the world?
You dressed up too.
Yeah, I dressed up. I got like nice looking, not like crazy fancy or anything, but I was clean. And then I called, and then, well, before I say anything, what's your side?
I was not dressed up. I just got home from work, and I was in the kitchen, and I was reading a book. I had my phone because Mom said, well, he might call you today. I had my phone sitting there, and I was watching the canner. Like, it's one of those pressure canners, so you have to watch it so it doesn't explode. And all of a sudden, I get this phone call, and it says, from Texas. Mom, she's so funny. She was in her room, and she must have heard it, because she met me halfway, and I said, Mom, do you think this is him? I was like so excited but so scared, and she's like, yes, it's him. I'm like, do I answer? And she's like, yes. And she's like, I'll watch the canner. So
pretty much how the phone call went for the first I would say at least 8 minutes of the phone call.
Yeah.
Possibly the first 10 minutes.
I didn't say a thing.
Yeah, it was like,
it freaked him out.
It went, hello? Like, she was confused that somebody was calling her. So anyway, she was like, hello? And I was like, oh yeah. What did I even say? I can't even barely remember what I said. What was my first words out of my mouth? Did I say, this is Matt?
Yeah, probably.
I said, this is Matt.
Your dad sent me a letter. I think is what you said.
I think so. But what I did is I wrote down just a couple things, like 10 questions to ask. And then I would go off of that. And sometimes my strategies aren't the best, but sometimes I'll go with the dump truck method, and it's just dump everything all at once. And that's what I did because I was like, and I'm used to like keeping people's attention. So I was like, I can't have dead air. I'm like, so I just kept going.
You did.
So-
That's probably why I didn't say anything. You were
Well,
just talking
I
straight.
first filled you in on everything a little bit, and then I started asking questions.
Yeah, and that's when I started to engage.
Yeah, because I was like, backwards, we're on the phone call, right? We're on the phone call. Well, before
With me.
that,
You were on the phone call with
yeah,
me.
before that, I was in the shower, and I was thinking and pontificating to myself as I do, and I said, what is the chance, as when I'm talking to this beautiful girl right here, that Joe Schmo calls me? Yeah, I'm calling my
We were-
wife, Ann,
We were talking.
and we're talking for an hour. And ring-a-ding-ding, my phone goes off. She doesn't know anything
I
about
know
this.
nothing
I went
about
zip.
this.
I just played it cool, and I went, boop, boop, you know?
I didn't even hear the phone
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah. I was like, boop, boop. So anyway, and I was like, I kind of almost felt good inside, too. I was so bad. I was like, yeah, I'm going to let you wait, too, buddy. So anyway, I know that's not Christian. But anyway, so he left me a voicemail. And I was like, yeah, so we hung
After
up.
4 hours.
After 4 hours, I looked at the voicemail and I was like, oh my goodness. And I talked to my mom and my dad after it because they were like, how did it go and everything like that. And I was like, it went great. I was like, guess who called me while we were on it? And they're like, no way.
You called him back.
No, I didn't ever call him back.
Oh, you texted it.
No, I texted back.
Oh, you texted.
Yeah,
You took the
I
easy way
waited-
out.
I waited 4 days, let
You're-
him stew a little bit. And then my other goal was too, before I called her, I said, I gotta make this girl laugh. Like, period, end of story. You know, I gotta make
And
her
you
laugh. And I did, like a lot. We started talking and I started asking you questions. And then what was the first joke that I cracked? It was about, yeah,
I think the only one that I remember was the white teeth.
the white
I
teeth
don't even
one.
remember.
The white teeth joke. And I mean, she cracked up laughing. We were both laughing. It was awesome. Because it was because, oh, what does mom say?
I don't know.
Why was
I
it
think
so
we were
funny?
both so nervous
I
that
think we were so
it
nervous.
just like built up and we just
Yeah.
laughed hysterically.
Yeah,
about
just
it.
laughed and laughed about it. It was so awesome. But yeah, it was pretty much just about you don't want to marry a guy with rotten teeth or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, and that was very funny to you.
I guess so.
Very humorous. So
Yeah.
so we talked for
4
hours.
Yeah.
Our
the
first phone call.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it felt like meeting like an old friend.
It did, yeah, because I don't know if it wasn't like awkward like going on your first date. Like the phone call
No.
wasn't awkward.
I highly recommend the phone call method.
Yeah,
It is awesome.
you get to know each other.
No, not even like a video call.
Yeah,
Phone call
Just a
is
phone
so
call,
awesome
yeah.
because, you know, yeah, you can't see somebody's facial expressions, but at least you can hear their voice and stuff. And it's just really nice because then it's not,
they're
you don't,
not under pressure.
yeah, you
to
don't
be
have to
looking
make
good.
eye contact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That-
It's really
that's-
nice.
that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
it's not all thrust at you at the
Yeah.
same time. So that
That part
that
was
really helped.
very nice.
Yeah.
I talked to her every other day.
yeah, every other day.
How did it go? It went
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
Thursday, Saturday, I think. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
and then it would ebb and flow. Sometimes we would talk every day, and then
Well, we
sometimes
texted like crazy.
she texted like a
But
bunch
we
of
were
crazy
still
people.
friends. Like
Yeah, we just started texting like, well, for a little bit there at the beginning, I didn't really want to discuss things like subjects or anything because it can get not manipulated. It can just get twisted
taken wrong.
or taken
yeah.
wrong, you know? And I just, for both sides, you know?
Yeah.
So I told her, I was like, I think I told you either on a phone call or something that, you know, we can just text normal stuff,
Yeah.
but just
I
know.
don't think I really understood what you meant. I'm like,
Yeah, because I
oh.
heard a lot about that too, that people had a lot of those issues.
Oh, miscommunication.
Yeah.
When texting.
And yeah, and like it wasn't good. So I was like, I just want to have discussions and debates and stuff like that on the phone. Like it would be better that way. Alrighty, also in next week's video, we are going to tell y'all what I got my wife on Thursday. And you have to remember, we are 700 miles away from each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just gotta get her something.
And
Like-
it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Our next video is called Does He Just Want to Be Friends?
Alrighty, also stay tuned for next week's video. And we gave y'all a little bit of extra content this week with this video going a little bit extra long. And we love y'all so much. Remember to subscribe.
Hit that like button.
Hit the like button and share it with family and friends. And also, if y'all have made it all the way to the end of this video, y'all are the super fans and y'all are awesome, and you want to do something fun and let us know that you watched all the way to the end of this video, you can put a little hashtag in your comment called #PrettyDaughter. And that'll let us know that you watched all the way to the end of the video, because watching to the end of our videos makes a world of difference. We love y'all, and we will see y'all next time.
All right, bye-bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.